Okay team, just gonna show you what my brother and I have been doing on the boat here over the last few days. Just trying to figure out what exactly we're gonna do with the transom. We were talking about doing aluminum, but I found out that that's gonna cost me about $2,500 to $3,000 for the transom and the swim platform. So we're gonna go with wood and fiberglass instead. It'll be probably just as strong with the way we're designing it. Well, maybe not quite as strong as aluminum, but it should be good. And then we're going to fiberglass over top of that, and we're going to have it anchored to the back of the boat through the existing transom, and it's going to offer a lot of strength. So anyways, I'll show you what we're doing and we'll go from there. So like I showed you before, that's the existing hole. We got to seal that up and regain the strength around that. So we built a plate for the inside. Just have to flip that over and stuff that in there, and we pre-drilled all the holes for around the hole. And then we're going to put, once we get this plate in here, this will sit basically in there like that, and then every single hole from the existing hole where the old leg went through, it's going to be 1/4 inch bolts, so that'll seal everything off really well. Then we have the 4 bolt holes, the main holes at the top. We'll probably put another couple in the middle, and we're going to have an angle iron plate coming from, and then we're also going to have mounting holes up there and up there. We'll probably have an angle iron plate coming from about here right across these ones, and then a piece of flat bar that'll be welded to that coming down around here somewhere. And then there'll be 2 holes going through here with turnbuckles on the other side. Like I said, there'll be knees, steel knees will be welded to that angle iron, and they'll come down right here to the side of where the old stringers were, and they'll be screwed into the side of the boat. So I have to do a little bit of welding. So then back here, right in this area, there'll be that plate will be straight across to these 2 bolts. I'll show you what the wooden transom looks like in a minute, but there'll be turnbuckles going right across, and that'll anchor the top of the motor to the inside of the boat through the existing transom into that plate on the angle iron on the other side. And then the knees will come down, the knees going down that way, and then all the weight hanging back here this way should give it enough strength, kind of like tying down a tent or whatever, or using guidelines on a power pole. So that will be how that works. We mocked up a cardboard box here. This was originally to show the welders and to take measurements for the welders to see how much it would cost to do aluminum, and found out it's way too much money. So still able to use this box to take all our measurements for the wood transom. We left a little space there. That was the idea for the drain plug. So this box will be airtight, sealed, and then have like a rubber plug or whatever sealing ring on top, so you can access the holes from the top to get to all the bolts. And then the other transom just going to be built similar to this plate. This is basically about the right height. It might be about 1 inch high. You want your anti-ventilation plate. This plate right here, this plate, that's your trim, one of your trim tabs. That plate has to be either perfectly in line with the bottom of the boat, or just slightly above for higher performance, or slightly below for like a heavier, like say a pontoon boat or something, fishing boat or whatever. based on all the research I did on the internet. Same thing with the positioning of the transom. I basically just did some research and looked at what other pictures of other guys have done and just built something similar. So we'll take that cardboard out, and then we'll mount the wooden box. Here's the wood box we built. We still have to put 3/4 inch plate inside here, and it'll be 4 inches or so above. We'll cut it a little bit higher so that we can trim that down for the height of the motor. And then will be another 3/4 inch plate over top of that, covering the whole back from here to here, rather than the other one from here to here. All glued, all screwed, super tight, very strong. We used tight bond, I think tight bond, this glue here, tight bond wood glue, waterproof. I saw it on YouTube, some guy was doing a transom with it. And then of course here's all my drawings from that cardboard box that I have. There's the inner plate, there's the outer plate. These are the swim platforms. These were going to be aluminum, but these suckers right here, that and that. So basically that's this plate. And then this one here is the one that's inside the boat there that I just showed you. And then these are all the pieces of the box. These were all aluminum, so we had to adjust all our measurements and angles, but other than that, this was all basically where we got this thing built. Every single joint has glue, and we've got lots of GRK screws and 4-inch long wood screws. This is your GRK screw. And then the rest are the big long joints, like say into here or into here, like these longer ones here and here. We just use 3.5 inch wood screws. And then yeah, like I said, this thing is super strong. Once you get fiberglass on there, it'll be even stronger. So I'll just show you how that mounts up in a minute here. I put a lot of screws on the header back here. You can see all of our holes are pre-drilled all the way around. And then, like I said, there'll be two screw holes for the anchor right here. So that'll mount, go through that angle iron plate on the other side of the inside of the boat. Plus these bolt holes are all going to give it strength. And we're going to put 2x4 right here. Another 2x4 right here. So that we have somewhere to screw the top plate to. There'll be an inspection hole, bolt hole access there. And we're probably not going to do any oil or fiberglass on the inside, just because we can take that plug out and check for water. If there's any in there, we'll just soak it up or dry it out. We'll just check it on a regular basis. Or we can always put a drain plug in the bottom there as well. Other than that, it's just a matter of finishing up these two back plates. And the bottom plate, we'll do the very top plate very last, right before we fiberglass. And it'll look something very similar to that. Yeah, I'll take more video once we get it kind of mounted up and the other support cross members in there finished. Okay, so what I'm doing here is attaching the inner plate to the outer plate outside of the boat. I've already pre-drilled every hole, but I have to now ream them out a little bit to the right sizes. So basically take that out. I got my alignment bolts on the bottom and the top. They're super tight. 1/4 inch all around here. And these are, I think, 3/8 or I can't remember, 3/8 or 5/16. 3/8 looks like. And then so it's aligned perfectly, so I just have to re-drill all these holes from this side and then drill the 2 pilot holes for the anchors, for the turnbuckle anchors here and here. And then as well, we're going to have probably a couple more holes in the bottom here. I guess you don't really need them, but I probably put 2 more through the header here, and probably here, here, maybe one here, maybe one here, just to give it extra support around the hole. Those are only 1/4 inch bolts. I think it might end up going right through. Yeah, we'll probably end up putting one right through here. And I haven't quite figured it out yet, but you get the picture. So that's a good way to align everything. That way when you put it in there, everything lines right up. You're not drilling holes in the wrong spots. You're not missing holes and then having the drill bit come out, you know, 1/4 inch beside another hole. You line everything up and it should all be bang on. Okay, for those of you who are not sure if a wood transom is strong enough to hold 240 pounds, I weigh 240 pounds, 45. So the motor weighs probably 250, 300, so we already know that it can hold my weight no problem. And we haven't even put on the top plate or the bottom plate. And only 4 bolts holding in. I probably shouldn't be standing on here right now, but I just wanted to show you how strong it already is. So of course there's going to be a lot more bolts holding it on. You can see all the holes, they're all pre-drilled. We just have to put the bottom plate on, down here, cut it, fit it, put it on, and that'll be done. Right now I'm going to finish drilling the rest of which holes? I can't remember. There's a few more holes that need to be finished here, but I think we're pretty close. Go from there. Okay, as you can see, all the holes are drilled from the front plate all the way out through the back plate. So basically we can just finish those two top plate and the bottom plate. Fiberglass, or the back plates as well, the motor mounts. Still gotta build those. And then start fiberglassing. All the holes line up perfectly now. I cleaned them all out. So we should be good. Bump this guy over this way so I'm using that clamp. Here we're just setting the angles for the bottom of the transom. Just matching side to side. And we're just cutting, using the other inner plate as a guide to cut the outer plate. Same angle on the bottom. can use this clamp as well, right?
Yeah.
That's what it's there for. Lots of little adjustments for this build. Luckily it's not a long job, but we've pretty much got her all mastered now. Just have these 2 plates and then the one more bottom plate. Done a pretty good job of utilizing that first sheet of 3/4 inch plywood, that's for sure.
One side was a little bit too short. Is that this side or the other side? I don't want to. I'm right snug here. Maybe I should. You remember which one it was?
Just cut it. It's the same angle as this, as long as it's the same angle as that. Too much for using the dust collector, eh?
Oh yeah.
We forgot. Just a tiny little tiny weeny whiny nick in there, you can see it, but the angle's looking good. It's perfect.
Just don't want to break that off and wreck it.
Let's use a hacksaw or something. And then those both go up there.
How am I going to get it as cutting this?
Just use that right there. Yeah, use that. That'll work. Oops. I'm trying to move it over here for you.
That was good, right, Lewis? Turn it the other way.
Yes. Perfect. Nice, clean angles. Perfect. Me likey. That should make a nice little plate.
Okay, let's see how it turn out. Except for, where's our, these screws? Gotta put 2 from the other side, maybe. No, we gotta take it apart anyways. Yeah.
That's a sexy fit right there, man.
This almost doesn't seem thick enough, does it?
Huh?
Almost doesn't seem thick enough.
It'll be thicker when you put the fiberglass on there, and then you put that plate on there. It's going to be perfect. And then one more plate on the bottom and top.
Here, you want me to cut it? You want to just check it? Is it good?
Yeah. It's good.
If you want.
That's up to you. I'm good.
Yeah.
A little bit more.
Not quite big out because we're further away now, right? It's okay.
You can cut that with a.
Yeah.
Okay, so we got our inside 3/4 inch plate already cut and fit, all the angles and everything. You can see that there. We're just clamping it down to this piece. Going to trace the second piece. We're going to make it just come up here. We kind of messed up on this corner, but we're going to fill that in with just a little chunk. We're going to fill that in with a little chunk. And then we're going to put fiberglass.
We didn't mess up. We did that purpose.
We messed up big time. No, it's okay. It's kind of on purpose, kind of a mess up. But we're going to put a little chunk of wood in here or whatever. And then this is all going to get fiberglassed in anyways. No one's going to even be able to tell. No one will be the wiser. I'm going to fill this in with a little bit of sawdust and glue. And that should give us enough strength. This is 6 inches, but we're actually going to cut this off around the 4-inch mark, depending on what height we want to set our motor at. Right now we're just going to finish some tracing, and then we can cut that second piece. And then we'll glue it on and screw it. Tons of screws. Then we just have to put the bottom piece on.
Want to look underneath just to make sure you're not cutting into something funny? we could have trimmed that off before, it would have been easier to cut. We wouldn't have had such a big piece of it. Now we just trace another one. Oh, we just need to take this and slide it up and trace another one. You know what I mean? Let's trace another one before we glue it on. Like what I mean is, we trace it because we got the perfect angles, essentially.
Trace another one here.
Yeah, we just need to know how far to go. Oh, this is how far to go down like this. Bring it here. So, look how far you have to move it down. But we could just trace it on this, put the box there and trace it. Right? Yeah. Let's leave this on. Put two screws in here just to tack this in place.
Why don't you just glue it to it? Trace it off of that.
So we're gonna trace, but are we gonna trace up here and do this like this? Because we're gonna have this. We're gonna have these really short screws, so we'll go into both pieces of plywood. Just go to the go in this one. Just go.
Those other screws will go in too. I mean, be nice and tight.
Now, let's see, can you see that? Can you see that? Can you see that? The screws went into that groove. Okay. Now we're using long screws. We'll need GMRs now. That part. GMK second.
Yeah, we're going to work through it anyways. So I'm going to do those.
Now,
We're going to need that line, so we can cut this enough. Okay, we're one step farther to completing this project. Still got a ways to go, but you can see that it's starting to develop quite nicely. We've got the back plates screwed and glued like crazy. Lots of screws back there, lots of support. We're going to grind off a bunch of screws on the inside. And you can see the angles are pretty much the same. The rear angle of this plate is the same as the angle of the boat. Nice flat surface. Pretty much that top of the plate is about the same level as the floor of the boat. So we think it looks pretty good so far, and we're hoping that it works and doesn't just rip off the first 5 seconds on the lake. Pretty sure it'll work good. A lot more strengthening that's going to happen too, so don't worry. It looks like it might just rip off, but it won't when we're done.